not a noun.
And then 64 across, figures in academia are deans. So the
Right?
camper was a band. Tough clue. Typical Thursday, right?
Definitely. Military posts say.
And the
Hmm.
mill is an abbreviation.
Right, right. Again, these are really long abbreviations, Sam. What's up with that?
We can check our revealer again. I mean, method of
Oh, look at
communication
this.
needed to understand those answers. So there's some weird way of parsing them, I guess.
Verse code. It's poetry.
Of course,
Yeah,
this is
that's
a
got to
pretty
be it.
poetic experience. That's what we're going for, right?
Right. No, you know what? Let's see if we can get the crossers. One ups. Well, we know that's going to have an S at the end because it's a
That's good.
plural.
So maybe check that crosser that begins with S.
Unlikely Christmas gifts in tropical areas. That's got to be sleds.
That is no doubt a Joel Fagliano clue. This guy loves getting as creative as possible with
really?
these cluing angles.
Okay.
Yes,
And
no doubt.
that's something a lot of people probably don't know is that while the constructor makes the majority of the puzzle, the editing is actually a group effort.
Yes.
Tell us who is on the
Well,
team.
that would be Will Shorts. He's been doing this for 26 years now and counting. The guy with the big byline on all those puzzles. Joel Fagliano, the guy who writes the mini crossword every day,
Right, and edits
myself.
the packs.
So yes,
Yeah.
edits the packs, and then there's me. I do the spelling bee. I like chipping in where I can. We all review all the puzzles.
And Vertex, right?
And Vertex, yeah. I write the captions for those too.
What about Letterboxd?
Yep.
Another one of our
You
games.
got it.
There you go. So you got your hand in pretty much everything right now. Talk about
a lot of work
power tools,
right? We want to give the people the puzzles.
right? So back here, Small Hill is a knoll.
Knoll. We can also get I think we can get 25 down with an educated guess.
25 down?
8 letters. It's 8 letters, but honestly, it's not as daunting as you would think.
Huh.
A polysomnogram. So it's something to do with sleep. So where would you get one of these tests?
That would have to be a sleep lab.
Would have to be a sleep lab.
I like that entry. That's a very nice
the first
entry.
time it has ever appeared in the New York Times crossword, along with Pluot.
Wow. Okay.
They're fresh. Keeping the puzzles fresh.
Power to the Pluots, man. Okay. 53. I like to get the little ones because it sort of knocks things out of the way. Updo hairstyle, that's got to be a bun.
Mm-hmm. And then, okay, that's got to be Morse code.
It has to be. Because to one up somebody is to trump them.
Mm-hmm.
And so if this is Morse code, what's going on here?
Well,
how does Schnazola become the answer to big numbers? Unless it's not big numbers.
Is it not? Do tell.
Well, this was something, and I am secure enough in my solitude to admit that I went to Sam for help on this. Because I have to explain these things for the wordplay column, and I need to be able to be, I need to be able to be correct in some way. The Times really hates it when you mislead people. So it turns out that Schnazola is another word for a big nose.
But how does that make sense? Because it's big numbers.
Right. Except that we need to know a little bit about Morse code in order to understand this, just a little bit. Now, I have no shame. So I Googled Morse code and I looked up the, just the Morse code alphabet, and I found out something very interesting. The Morse code symbol for the letter E is a dot, just one dot. So if you go back to 25 across and you look at this clue, big numbers or big nose, that little tiny dot there, the one that was driving me crazy, Sam, that's the E. The theme has been hiding, and this is what I said in wordplay. The theme was hiding in plain sight all along.
Gotta love it when that happens. And I
I
mean,
love it.
as
That
I
is
saw from
so
your Slack
clever.
message, Deb, it makes for, I mean, the 8 letter,
Oh, yes, there was
oh,
a
when it
big
finally,
one. There was
that's exactly what we're going for here. So,
exactly. There was Sam was dribbling this bit by bit to me, going, okay, well, so that there's it's Morse code, and what does that look like? And all of a sudden, I put a divot in my forehead and went, oh,
I mean, of
and
course,
that is the best kind of puzzle to
it
have,
is. I mean,
right?
you especially experience that on those crazy Thursdays, right?
Exactly. And
Let's finish this
I
up.
enjoy that divot. So if Schnazola is the answer to big nose, because that dot is Morse code for E, big nose, then we have to figure out what else is going on here. Because, and what's even more clever is these are real words, and the clues are also real. So it doesn't look like there's a problem. But now that we know that E is that the dot is Morse code for E, this becomes mileposts,
That's
say,
the one.
and the answer road marker starts to make a lot more sense.
Boom.
Woo!
And as you were saying, I mean, the clues read so naturally. Like big numbers is a normal looking crossword
That's
clue.
right.
Military posts say you want that to be something related to
Yes.
fort. So even you go up to 36 across. It's not op-ed, which looks so natural. Which looks so natural.
Right.
It's opted. That's a
Right.
T. That's a
That
dash.
that dash right between op and ed there, which is how you would spell
Mhm.
op-ed, is not really a dash. It's the letter T, because it dash is the symbol for T in Morse code. So that clue becomes opted, and the answer becomes made a choice. Now, I have to tell you, I got a lot of these when I was solving, and made a choice seemed like kind of an odd entry to me. It was kind of meh, like, why is that there? I don't really understand why that's a
Mhm.
thing. It's certainly a whole phrase. It's not a partial, so
It's
I
fine.
don't really have a
It's
lot to
fine.
complain about. It just struck me as odd.
But that's the kind of thing that'll tip you off to the answer.
Oh,
Like
yes.
I would say, we might use that answer might fly in a theme list, but I can see you wondering if it's like in the language is a lot. We say that a lot of the time when
I
we're
mean,
editing
it is
puzzles.
in the language. It just seemed odd for a themed puzzle to have that
I
in
hear
there.
that.
So we're now this would be Cora Crawley, and we're gonna figure out what the rest of these are
Yeah. Well, we
as
can
we
go
go.
to. I was not around in the late 1970s, Deb.
Oh,
So I don't really know. I don't really know my eras too. I'm a little hazy with my eras there.
okay.
Um, but
Should I
maybe
put out? You know what? I'll get out my old mirrored ball. How's that? Would that help?
yeah, sure. So
Okay.
okay, so it's the disco era, you're
It
saying.
would be the disco era,
Wonderful.
where
Okay.
we all did the hustle. Most of us, well, some of us more successfully than others. Okay. Uh,
Alex Thibodeau says that 3 down, and Garfield agrees, is optimism. So
where
that's
are
going to
you?
help us really crack into that top left area right there.
Oh, okay. 3 down. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade outlook. That would definitely be optimism. Oops.
Sorry to you solvers with all the lagging and sound issues. We
Yes.
will try. I will. We'll
Yeah.
look into seeing how we can improve
All
this
right.
for
You know
sure.
what, Sam? Let me take it from here. If there are
Take it away.
any comments, you let me know. Because are there any complaints about my lag? Am I
I
right?
don't know whose lag it is. I'm just kind of assuming it's mine because I normally have Wi-Fi issues.
Okay.
Some are saying
It could
sound
be
issues
anything.
altogether. So
But we want to thank you for your patience.
yes.
All right, so here we've got a talking point, which is very, very clever. The talking point would normally be sort of a bullet point or something you want to talk about, maybe in a presentation. But here we're talking about the point of location, and that would be a podium,
Hmm.
which is fabulous. To tear is to rip something. And the crosser there is very interesting. I misparsed this as carrot when I first flew, because I was doing the acrosses, and then I looked at the clue and I was like, oh, car ad. It might be shot on a winding seaside road, as the cars zip by.
I like the
Um,
imagery behind clues like that. They're fun.
right. This is one that, believe it or not, stumped a lot of people, even though it's been in the New York Times crossword quite a bit. Um, the Yale University, a lot of colleges have nicknames for their students. I went to Syracuse, we were the Orangemen. Someone who went to Yale in Connecticut would be an Eli. And that's appeared quite a lot. Okay, another one that got a lot of questions. There were actually the mathematicians came out and protested this heartily. I don't know enough about it to argue, but the prime factor is 1, and a lot of people are arguing that 1 is not a prime factor. It's a prime number, but it's not a prime factor.
So, well, that's actually the thing. It's actually the opposite. Is that
Oh, really?
one is not a prime number. The language here was meant to be precise.
Okay.
Apologies for the confusion, but it's that, for a prime fact, for any prime number, because it can only be divided by 1 and itself. 1
Hmm.
is the prime factor for any prime number, but 1 itself is not a prime number. So
Okay.
that
This
tripped some
is
people
this
up.
is
But
this is
thank
why I
you.
don't write a column about numbers or math.
We're
Uh,
not on number play.
right? No. The frost formed from fog. This is a very poetic word, but I like it. It happens to be rhyme.
Say that clue 5 times fast, please.
Yes, frost formed from frog. Ugh. Oof.
From frog.
Okay. Do we have anybody taking us home in the upper left-hand corner?
Yeah. Bruce Giordano agrees on rhyme. Alex Thibodeau says that 1 across is uno. One of those clues that I'm like, gosh, I wish I could have seen that earlier, even though
Yeah,
it was right at the top of the puzzle. So there we go.
absolutely.
Let's see, and then there's one
So
down. I
the
mean,
cry from a car, you do. I guess if you're playing Uno, you shout Uno if you have
you have to. You
Uno.
have to.
I don't know. I
Someone
don't
will call
play
you
it.
on it, and then you'll get more cards.
Hmm. Whoops, sorry
So
about that.
one down.
Loved this one. Worldview with a question mark. Uh, well, you would see a picture of the world on a map. So your worldview might be your philosophy about things and how you see the world. But because of that question mark, there's wordplay there, and you're being encouraged to think outside the box. No
Don't
pun
take it at face
intended.
value. Indeed.
That's right. Okay. Dash able. Now
Able.
remember, this is our last uh, theme entry. So normally dashable would be something that how would you describe that, Sam?
Oh gosh, I was just thinking of that as a suffix. I don't
Yeah,
really.
it's a
That wouldn't really. That was kind of the least normal crossword clue. It just looks like we're including a suffix there.
right. If it's edible, say, it means you can eat it. That's
So that's with an I. So then we're
right.
actually. So,
That's true. Don't listen to me. But the dash, if you remember, is not a dash; it's a T. So to table something is to put it on hold.
Todd Booth and Bruce Giordano agree,
Yep,
and then we are just 2 letters away from
we
finishing
are.
this tricky, Wi-Fi lag riddled Thursday crazy Alex
Yeah.
Eaton-Salners thing. Let's take it home.
Well, I don't know. You can't really see it behind me, but it just started to thunder and come on down here. So hopefully I'll be with you for the whole thing. If I suddenly disappear, it was nice playing with
We'll
you.
blame David Kwong.
What?
We'll blame David Kwong for the
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, made some calls is really, really a very cool clue. It sounds like we're asking for somebody who made some phone calls, but we're not. The kind of calls we're thinking of is well, baseball, I guess.
Mhm.
And the answer is umpired. Now, sea creatures that move by jet propulsion is kind of hard, although we have all the letters except one, so it might be easy to guess. But I checked the crosser for this one, and I knew that singer Tina Turner's memoir is I, Tina. Ready for this one?
Go for it. I hope if for nothing else, solvers were able to hear that sound,
I hope
because
so.
that's all that matters at the end of the day. Is the San Jose strut that
Exactly.
congratulates us upon
Bless,
finishing
bless
everything.
the person who wrote that. So just very quickly, we needed Morse code to figure out the very tricky puzzle by Alex Eaton-Salners today. I fell to it with big numbers here, which is actually big nose, because the dot is the Morse code symbol for E. So this clue actually reads big nose, and schnozola is a synonym for big nose. The dash is the symbol for T, and that would be table, is to put on hold if you table an idea or something. Made a choice, you have OP. This is actually a TED. Opted is made a choice. Again, we have the dot, which is an E. Sorry about that. My dog is objecting
Extra
to
fun.
this. Milepost, say, is road marker. And that's why I need to know a little bit of Morse code to understand today's puzzle. But that was really cool because the theme was right there.
Right
You
there in front
just
of you.
had to figure it out.
Don't kick yourself if you're googling anything too. I mean, anyway, however you want to solve the puzzle is all up to you.
Absolutely.
So,
And for example, I kind of knew what was going on. I knew that the dots and dashes had something, like I knew that big numbers was really going to be big nose because that's what a schnozola is, but I knew that the letters had disappeared. I thought they'd been taken away. And I thought there was going to be a message in that spelled it out. And in fact, if you go from top to bottom here, it spells out TETE, which is tete, which is French for head. And
unintentional. This is nothing.
somewhere I confused a lot of people on wordplay today. I probably went too deeply. And somewhere Will Shorts is going, "Oi, she's overthinking it again."
It happens. That's okay. You're showing exactly how people solve crossword puzzles.
Well,
So,
or don't.
there you go.
So, but the real theme was the dots and the dashes in as symbols in Morse code, and that was a terrific puzzle. I want to thank you guys for that because it was a lot of fun.
Sure. Glad you enjoyed. Well, I mean, for those of you just joining us here every week, I mean, we do this every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'll
Right here
see
on
what I can
Twitter,
do on.
and we stream to Twitter and YouTube. Please, just so you know, because I get some email about this, when you see it come live on Twitter, click the grid, because that will take you to Periscope where you can leave your comments. I think you can leave I'm not really sure how it works, to be honest. I think you can leave them on Twitter. I think you can leave them on our simulcast to YouTube, but I'm not sure. So if you don't see your comment coming up, or you don't see, we can't respond to all the comments, obviously, because they do come in very quickly. But if you feel that you're not being seen or heard, try clicking through, because I think that's where you're supposed to put
Or
the
it means I'm
comments.
not doing my job and I'm spending too much time looking at the grid that we're showing to
Oh,
everybody
you
else.
do a
So,
great
it could
job,
be that too.
Sam. I mean, kudos to Sam, really. And you make it 10 times more fun. You really do.
And unless it's my connection, then it's
Right.
another story.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
Thank you all for joining us, especially those who soldiered through, everything from the crazy solve to the crazy Wi-Fi.
yes.
We'll be back
Thank
next
you
week.
for joining us. Have a happy, healthy Passover. Please stay safe. Wash your hands. Keep social distancing. We love our solvers. And next week, if everything goes right, we will have Timothy Simons as our guest, who starred as Jonah on the television program Veep.
It'll be fun.
He's also a solver, so we have to make sure that he's still up for it, given the social distancing. But we're going to try to have him on because he loves to solve. All right. Anyway, thank you all very much. This is Deb Amlen and Sam Ezersky for the New York Times. Have a happy Thursday.